Congresswoman, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for being here. I want to get your take on what's going on and what you've learned in House Ways and Means from these whistleblowers at the IRS.
Yeah, the testimony is absolutely shocking. I mean, these whistleblowers who were investigating the Hunter Biden case basically found that he had evaded taxes to the tune of over $2 million on $8 million of money that he had received, including, by the way, an $80,000 diamond, a $142,000 Porsche. And supposedly all of this is from foreign entities. And now that this is all uncovered, we voted to release this transcript to the public because it was important for the public to see just how corrupt the DOJ is, that they were going to enter this plea deal, which basically gave Hunter Biden no repercussions and no jail time, actually. If you look at any other case where someone has evaded $1 to $2 million, you'll see roughly 3 to 5 years in prison. Okay, average Americans or celebrities that have gone to prison for years for doing what Hunter Biden allegedly did. And that is why it's so important that we are uncovering this. And we are now taking it to the next level where the Oversight Committee, Judiciary Committee, and our committee are now coordinating our efforts in this investigation. We believe that that plea hearing that's due for the end of the month should be postponed. Let our investigation continue because what we're uncovering right now is massive corruption where these whistleblowers were actually removed from the investigation as a result. There should have been a prosecution here. They were told to reconsider the next steps of this investigation by higher ups. And we want those higher ups to now come before our committee, higher ups at the IRS, at the FBI, and the DOJ to come before our committee to give voluntary testimony. If not, we will subpoena them.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're talking about Hunter Biden and the potential for jail time. Let's be clear here. This is an investigation of Joe Biden and the Biden family, not just Hunter Biden. You know, Mike Huckabee, jump in here because I keep asking the same question, and that is, how is it possible that the DOJ will investigate and prosecute money that is owed on income, taxes that were not paid on income, but they fail to actually investigate where that income came from?
It's totally absurd. And I think the Congresswoman is exactly right that Americans look at this and they say Wesley Snipes goes to prison for several years for tax evasion, but his last name wasn't Biden. So how come it is that somebody from the Biden family not only escapes any real punishment, but the other part of that is they really don't get investigated, and no one checks to find out how did this money get there? Who gave it? Was it foreign governments? Was it the Communist Chinese Party? And I appreciate the fact that Congress is going to look into this. They need to, and they need to blow the whistle, if you will, on the entire operation and let us know just who's doing on the entire operation and let us know just who's doing what.
So, Congresswoman, how is this going to play out now? You all are back for the next several weeks before the August recess. I know that you, along with the Oversight Committee, James Comer, as well as Judiciary, do you have any thoughts on what this is about?
It's absolutely outrageous. I mean, what an embarrassment for the White House and for our country that cocaine was found inside the building. And I'll say this, you know, we always are criticizing this president for his open borders policy, the fact that the drug cartels are profiting over killing Americans, over pumping drugs into our country. And now it seems that there's somebody at the White House that apparently is using some of these drugs. So it's a really interesting thing here that we're seeing. We've never seen before in the history of this country. But someone has to be held accountable for not only using drugs within the White House, but for whoever smuggled that into the White House. Where did it come from? And where does that lead? That could be another total investigation into what exactly is going on here. Is there a reason why we have such open borders and the president seems to be doing so much to support the drug cartels who are trafficking drugs and humans into our country?
Well, this is just sick, and I know you have your hands full in terms of investigations. I want to turn your attention back to New York, of course, where we see now the New York City Board is holding a meeting on proposed downtown tolls. This meeting next Wednesday, Congressman, I want to get your take on congestion pricing. This is adding to the pressure on New Yorkers. So let me get this straight. If I'm driving in my car to work and I live uptown and I have to go downtown, I've got to get charged an additional fee?
Yeah. And it's a $23 fee, okay? This is what our governor and our mayor and our president are doing to the city of New York. This was passed by the state legislature under Governor Cuomo. Kathy Hochul has jammed this through. This is nothing more than a money grab to get people to put more money into the black hole that is the MTA that runs our transit system. Remember, they received $15 billion in COVID relief funds and other funds over the last couple of years from the federal government alone. And yet they are now asking for a $23 toll to enter into Manhattan. As somebody who represents Staten Island and Southern Brooklyn, this will cripple my constituents. I think it will hurt New York City's economy that is already slowly, recovering from the pandemic. We can't get people to come and utilize our restaurants in Broadway and take advantage of everything New York City has to offer due to crime and other reasons. This is only going to add to that burden. If they want to raise money for the subway, they actually want people to ride the subway. That means they should make the city subway safe, and more people will choose to do that instead of driving to Manhattan. This is nothing more than a money grab and a war on cars by the Democratic Party.
That's unbelievable. Wow. And you're talking about people having to go pay a fee coming from Staten Island or other boroughs. How about if you just live in New York? Okay, you could be living in New York in one part of the city and have to pay a toll to get to another part of the city.
How elitist is that? How elitist is that? Only if you could afford, you could enter certain parts of Manhattan.
That's right. Congresswoman, thank you. We'll be watching it. We'll keep a spotlight on it. Your constituents care about it. We know that. Nicole Malliotakis joining us this morning in New York. Much more ahead this morning.